everybody. So today we are going to be making dream cheese. I'm super excited to show you this recipe. I actually learned it recently and it's so simple, and that's what I'm most excited about, is to show you guys how simple this can be. So with dream cheese, you have several different options of how to start your base, okay? You can make it with yogurt, you can make it with clabber, or you can make it with kefir, all right? So this is a gallon of raw milk yogurt that I made, and this is already incubated and fermented for the amount of time that it needed to make yogurt. It's absolutely beautiful, absolutely delicious. So you can make it with yogurt. Now you can also make this with store-bought yogurt. If you don't have a dairy cow and you don't have a farmer to get fresh milk from, you can also make this with store-bought yogurt, okay? But the most important thing to remember is you've got to make sure it doesn't have any sweeteners in it, artificial sweeteners, any kind of sweeteners in it. If you can try to go organic, that's always best, of course. And then the most important thing is that yogurt has to have live cultures in it. So you can look on the back of that container and it will tell you if there's live cultures or not. So if you don't have live cultures in your yogurt, your cheese is not going to ferment when we hang it. It's just going to rot and make your house really stinky. So make sure that if you do use store-bought yogurt that it has live cultures, because that's what allows the cheese to ferment properly. If not, it's just gonna go sour, go bad, okay? So yogurt is one way you can make your dream cheese. We will do another video on how to make these things that you can choose from. Clabber is very simple. Literally, this came out of Gracie when I milked her, and all I did was date it and stick it on the counter, okay? So clabber, or raw milk, has healthy bacteria in it. All those bacteria are good for you. They are good for doing fermentation with your milk. If you get milk from the store, it's pasteurized, and most of the milk nowadays is ultra pasteurized, okay? So what they've done is they have essentially boiled that milk to such a high temperature that it's boiled out all of those healthy bacteria. So you're not gonna get the same product, the same texture that you would with raw milk. Now with raw milk, these have all those live healthy bacteria in there, and so this milk has clabbered, or for a lack of a better words, it's kind of turned into its own yogurt, all right? Now what I do, the only thing I do other than just sitting this milk out on the counter to clabber, is I do put in 1 spoonful of my homemade plain yogurt, okay? Because that yogurt has a culture in it, right? So I put 1 spoonful of yogurt into my clabber, and it's just gonna help it ferment that much faster. If you don't have yogurt, you can just set it on the counter, and as long as it's the raw milk, it will clabber just fine. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm gonna try to show you. If you look at this milk, you can see it separating from the jar. Do you see that? This is the consistency that you want to look for. If it's still liquidy, then it has not clabbered yet, and you want to leave it on the counter to ferment a little bit longer. But when it separates completely from the jar like that, we're ready. This is our clabber, so it's ready to go. All right. Now this here is kefir. These are kefir grains in this jar, all right? And so these grains are full of healthy bacteria for you. And essentially what you do is you put them in your milk, and it ferments the milk for you, and you get this beautiful fermented milk drink that is kind of, in my opinion with ours, it's kind of a nutty, grainy flavor, and it is just amazing. It's kind of similar to a buttermilk consistency, and it's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. Very good for you. So we'll do another video on that and talk about that, all right? So today we are going to do our recipe with clabber. So now I'm gonna show you how to string up your cheese and start the process for making dream cheese balls, okay? All right, so what you're gonna need is a bowl and a strainer, all right? All right, I always wash them really good, and even though when I'm done washing them, I boil them for a few minutes to get the soap or detergent or whatever it is I use to wash it out of the tea towel, because we don't want to have that in our cheese. All right, guys, so here we go. We've got our clean boiled tea cloths here, or tea towels. Okay, that's just what they look like. Like I said, you can buy these at Walmart, Amazon, just a nice thin towel, all right? That way our whey can drip out without having to fight. It can drip right out of there. All right, so we're just gonna line our strainer with our tea towel. It's as simple as this. You guys are gonna just be blown away when you see how easy this is. Okay, we're gonna pour our clabber into the towel, and go slow or you're gonna make a mess everywhere. It's gonna splash everywhere. All right, okay. And let me just hold this up for you guys so you can see this consistency, okay? Little jiggly, little clumpy, kind of like a yogurt. But this is so much easier because it's not the process of making yogurt. You're just setting it on the counter and allowing it to clabber naturally. So it's very easy. All right, so all we're gonna do is wrap up this towel, tie it up, and we're gonna string it up, and I like to hang it right here on my cupboard. Now let me show you guys first, for string, just to make it easy for you, get some kitchen string or some twine, whatever you'd like. And you're gonna cut a piece of it. And what you're gonna do, I'll show you, you're gonna take the two ends, I hope I made that long enough, and you're just gonna tie them together in a knot. Good and tight, like that, okay? Now if you just put this knot through your loop, a cinch. Is that a word? Is that a thing, a cinch? Well, you've created a loop so you can cinch down the tea towel, all right? It just makes it a little bit easier. This might be a little too short for what I'm trying to do, but we'll see, we'll give it a shot. And I don't even think I need this spoon. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of mix this around a little bit if you want to and help some of that whey. And actually it's dripping quite a bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna mix this around a little bit, let some of that whey drip out into your bowl. And that way, when you string this up, it's just a little bit easier to work with. That way you don't have whey dripping all over your counter and coming out of the corners when you're trying to tie it up. So you can do this for as long as you want. Either way, you've got to string it up to allow the whey to, you know, finish dripping out. So just for a couple seconds is good. And you don't even have to do that if you don't want to. You just string it right up. The whey is going to come out either way. Either way, get it? Crack myself up. All right. Draw these up. Now make sure when you get your four corners that you also grab the in-between, or else your whey and your cheese is going to drip out the side. All right, pull those up really good into your bundle. Don't miss any, or else you're gonna have a mess on your counter. So we've got this big ball of clabber. You see that? Look at that whey dripping out. That's what we want. We don't want moisture in our cheese. Moisture is bad. Moisture is what makes your cheese go rancid, and we don't want that. So our goal in this process of hanging and fermenting this clabber is to extract as much moisture as we can. So you're gonna use your string, just like you're pulling hair through a ponytail holder. You're gonna put it around and cinch it down. See how easy that was? Instead of trying to hold the towel and tie it and all that craziness, you've already done your little loop, so it's nice and easy. Now, once you get that done, you need to grab a good bowl to put under it so that your whey will drip into your bowl. These are from my batch yesterday that I just finished, so I didn't even wash them because who cares? I'm not using the whey. I actually give it to the pigs. You can use whey, you can store it in your fridge. It's great to put in your plants in the garden. Great for smoothies, great for cooking. Whey is extremely healthy for you. So feel free to use it and drink it. Okay. So we're just gonna bring it over to the counter. And we're gonna hang it from our cupboard. And we're gonna go ahead and do up our second batch of clabber real quick. Homemade clabber is hanging here on the counter, and what we're going to do is we're going to leave this here to ferment for 24 hours. So tomorrow when we come back, like I said, we're going to salt it and rehang it for another 24 hours. You guys, this is it. This is all there is to making this cheese. It's unbelievable. The fermentation is going to do the work for you. All right. Hi guys, welcome back. It's been 24 hours since we hung our cheese, and now we're gonna take it down and we're gonna salt it for its next 24 hours of fermenting. What we're gonna do to help that along is we're going to add salt to this cheese. We're gonna add salt for one, to flavor it, but then we're also adding the salt because salt helps draw out all that moisture. So let's go ahead and unwrap our cheese that we started yesterday. Okay, and we'll save our string because we're gonna need this again to rehang it. So as you can see, this has been hanging for 24 hours and we've got a nice ball of cheese fermenting nicely. So what we're gonna do is just open up our towel, nice and flat. Ooh, I'm losing cheese here. And we're going to scrape all this to the center the best we can. If you miss some of it, no problem. We're gonna put this in the bowl. Now you might be thinking that I'm gonna take this towel and put it in the wash and grab a new towel to restart this second fermentation, and I'm not doing that. So the reason I'm not doing that is because we do not wanna lose all of those good bacterias and everything that we have already created in this fermentation. We wanna keep this towel, keep this environment going. So once we salt our cheese, we're gonna put it right back in here and ferment it for another 24 hours, all right? Bring my bowl over here. Just gonna start putting my cheese in the bowl, and my hands are clean. It's totally fine to use your hands. Just saying. Just make sure they're nice and clean and you're good to go. All right, so I've gotten most of this off of here, and I'm gonna set my towel aside and bring my salt in. So 1 teaspoon per quart of whatever you're starting out with, whether it's yogurt, clabber, kefir, 1 teaspoon per quart. So we're just gonna sprinkle this on. And then we're gonna work it into our cheese. And I'm actually gonna use my wooden spoon. A wooden spoon is a little bit easier to work with. You want to work it in nice and good, nice and evenly. And this has the texture of cream cheese. So, and you can eat this right now without even doing anything else to it. You can add some herbs to it. You can add fruit to it. It's perfectly safe, perfectly fermented, and totally good for you to eat right now as is. But we want to make those beautiful dream cheese balls, so we're going to keep going. Let me show you guys, once I work this for another few seconds, what kind of texture we're working with here. Okay. Looks like cream cheese. Maybe a little cottage cheesy looking, but this is cheese. Now it's still got moisture in it, you can tell that. So our goal is to extract as much moisture as we can. And this salt is gonna help us out with that. I'm gonna scrape this off here with my spatula because we don't want to waste any of this cheese. For another 24 hours, and then we'll come back tomorrow and we will unveil our cheese, and then tomorrow's the fun part. We're actually going to get to make our dream cheese balls. So I will see you guys then. So today's the fun part. We've done the hard work. Well, really it's not hard work, right? The fermenting and the hanging does the hard work for us. We get to bring our cheese down, we get to look at that final product, and we're gonna break it apart, and then we're gonna mold it together in these beautiful little cheese balls and roll it in our herbs and then submerge it in our olive oil for preservation, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. So let's get started. All right, let's get these opened up. Actually, let me turn this oven off really quick. Okay. I always feel like I have like multiple things going on in here. So this is so exciting. I was amazed when I learned how easy this cheese is to make. I mean, you guys saw, you start with your base product and you hang it essentially for 2 days. Let the fermenting do all the work for you, right? And then you come back and the cheese is done. And you get to play with it and make beautiful, beautiful things. All right, let me show you guys how this looks today. My hands are clean again. Made sure to wash them really good before we started. What this looks like today versus yesterday. Remember yesterday we had more of a creamy, cottage cheesy kind of look, and today we have more of a firm cheese, okay? And it smells like cheese. Little bit like a dirty feet cheese, but that's what some cheeses smell like. Stinkier they are, the better they taste, right? The more rich they are. So don't let that scare you. This is not rotting when you hang this. This is fermenting. There's a huge difference. So the smell that you smell is a good smell, so don't be afraid of it. All right, we are done with our towel now. So we're gonna set that aside. We're gonna open up our next one. And again, we've got the same thing here. Nice ball of cheese, okay? So I'm gonna add this to the bowl, set this towel aside. And now all we're gonna do is we're gonna just work on breaking this apart. And once we have it all broken apart, we're gonna mold together our cheese balls. All right, so now that we've got this kind of separated, you can see what we've ended up with. We've got this nice, big, beautiful bowl of cheese, okay? So now the fun part, we get to mold our balls. And you can do these whatever size you want. Some people, I've seen people do them small, almost like bite-sized balls, which is totally fine. I mean, you've got to think about the fact that these cheese balls are going to be good and shelf stable as long as they're preserved and submerged completely under the olive oil. They're going to be good for 8 months to a year. That's how long they will keep. Of course, if you're anything like us in this house, they don't last that long because they're really good. So it's kind of nice, it's convenient. Those winter months or those couple months out of the year that the cow's dried off when she's gonna have her calf, we still get to enjoy this cheese even when we don't have milk because we've taken the time to preserve it now. All right. So I've got this beautiful little cheese ball, okay? And it's nice and solid. It's good. All right, so we're gonna just set that aside. For me, when I take out these cheese balls, I need a little bit more than a bite size. Anything I'm using it on. If I'm gonna use it on bagels, I need a little bit more of that cheese on there. I like a lot of cream cheese on my bagels. If I'm gonna use it on crackers or, you know, French bread or whatever, I need, you know, about this much, you know? This is a pretty decent amount if you're gonna have a couple pieces of bread or something, so it's perfect. All right, guys, so here we are. We're at the tail end of making our dream cheese balls. I'm on my last one here. And the texture of this cheese is amazing. It is just super creamy, very easy to mold. And now is the fun part. We've made our balls. So now we're going to roll them in our herbs. Now, you guys can use whatever herbs you want. This is just kind of like an Italian mix, and these ones are from the herbs that I grew in the garden last year, with the exception of some marjoram and I think there was one other one that I didn't grow in the garden, so I went ahead and sprinkled some of that in here. But it's a beautiful mix of rosemary, oregano, thyme, basil, parsley, because parsley really gives it that beautiful green color. You know, oregano and all those tend to dry with that neutral color, and the parsley really helps to liven this up a little bit. So let me just let you guys take a peek at this. All right, so we've got lots of pretty herbs in there. All right, so you want to make sure that you coat these really well. Very easy to do. And you can have the herbs be as thick as you want or as thin as you want. You really just want to make sure that the cheese is completely coated, okay? So we've got our first little cheese ball, okay? All right, so while we do the other ones, we're not gonna go ahead and stick this one right in our jar of olive oil. We're gonna set it aside, and the reason we do that is because we really wanna give those herbs a chance to settle into that cheese. That way, when you put them into the olive oil, the herbs won't just come right off in the olive oil. And I don't know if you can see, but you're gonna get some floaties in there. You're gonna get some floaties of herbs, which is totally fine. Who cares, right? It's gonna flavor your olive oil even better. All right, so let's keep going here. Cheese balls rolled in herbs, and we are going to submerge them in our olive oil. Now, you guys can use whatever kind of olive oil you want. There's no secret to that. Just a good olive oil will do just fine. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add some more olive oil to this right now. I don't wanna put the balls in first and then add the olive oil over the top, because it's gonna take some of the herbs off the cheese. And you know, I don't want to do that, obviously. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some more olive oil to this, and then we're gonna put our cheese balls in here. And I'm so excited because I have one more batch of cheese to do, and then we should have about a full jar of dream cheese balls. So it's very exciting. All right, now you can add these with your fingers. You can use a spoon, whatever you want. You just want to do it gently, because you don't want to lose the herbs if you can help it as you're putting them in. We're just gonna drop them right in, just like that. And I might not even have enough room in here for another batch. So I might have to start another jar for my next one. Okay, got that in there. And there you have it, guys. That is all there is to it. Beautiful dream cheese balls that will last in your pantry for 8 months to a year. I mean, you can't beat that. And you can also put these in the fridge, just so you guys know. Some people get freaked out about, you know, putting stuff in their pantry, and I get it, but you know, these are totally shelf stable, totally fine to go in the pantry. And if you put them in the fridge, keep in mind that the olive oil, it will solidify. So if you need cheese balls, you're gonna have to let this jar sit out on the counter for a little bit to let the olive oil melt back down to a liquid, and then you can take your cheese balls out, but this can absolutely be stored in your fridge if you don't want to put it in your pantry. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you try the cheese, and we will talk to you later.